Haha.
Yes, indeed. Let's get rolling. Hello, everybody. It's your boys,
How you darn?
the Pirate Crew.
Hello.
Say hello, Pirate Crew.
Hello,
Ahoy.
pirate
Ahoy.
crew.
You guys.
Ahoys. Yeah, a whole bunch of mixed reactions, and somebody didn't say anything. And I'm mad at them now.
Boy,
That's the spirit.
Yep,
I'm sorry,
that is
I'm
indeed
nibbling.
the spirit.
I'm nibbling right now.
Well, listen, this pirate crew was just ambushed last episode. They're all getting tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, since you're so keen on telling everybody what happened last time, why don't you fill them in?
Well, I'll fill everyone in from Tilia's perspective.
Okay.
She was enjoying a fairly relaxing morning, doing her exercises around her cabin, tidying up, having a little snack, drinking her coffee, and her door was kicked down by 3 impolite individuals, and mistaking the window for a door, Tilia escaped overboard. But not before she was sprayed with knockout gas. So she was sent overboard, about to pass out for the entire session, basically.
Yeah, it was funny. Very funny.
It was
Yikes.
hilarious. Listen, the window on Roll20 looked a lot like a door to me, so...
Yes, it happens, you know. I run out my window every morning.
See, it
I'll
was
tell
like
ya.
a patio. It was a patio door.
You know, it was an honest mistake.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Honest or not, it was simply a mistake. Yeah. So for Anthony, because you were not here, yes, big combat last session. A whole bunch of goons died downstairs. And Tilia, who was knocked out, the last thing they saw was you step out onto the main deck and call lightning that hit the enemy vessel and forced it to retreat.
That's pretty sweet. When you say goons, are you referring to
All
our
these
people
red
or the
X's. Like,
enemies?
oh, I moved you guys to the main thing. Yeah, all these fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not seeing.
All these red X's here. All those goons.
Okay, good. I thought you were referring to like our people, and I was like, our crewmates are not goons, sir.
Well,
There's a lot of dead goons.
we're going to pick up right with the immediate aftermath, which you know is the people on the deck that see Tilia cast out what they can to reel her back in, get her back onto the deck. Tilia, you are still currently unconscious. You'll wake up in about 4 hours.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I was asleep.
You will wake up in about 4 hours, sir. And a head count on the ship reveals that 6 of your crew members have also fallen on this day. Vlor and Jnor are both dead.
No.
Oh,
Nothing of value was lost.
Rest in peace, my brothers.
Dane, the person who everybody talked to who was originally steering the ship, is also dead. Carrick is dead. And let's see, that's Lord Jnor, Dane, Carrick. That's 4. Yoichiro and Yuto are also both dead.
I don't think we've ever talked to them.
You
Yeah, I was
guys
gonna say, I
have
don't
not.
think I know.
yeah.
You guys have only
Well,
talked
now
to
we
like
never will.
5 members of the crew.
Rest in peace. Just recently named crew members.
I told you their names earlier in this campaign, actually. Just nobody talked to
I
them.
haven't had a use for them, so I haven't done them.
Yeah. Well, anyways, those 6 are dead.
Can you cross out the
It was
dead people?
Vlorj, Vlorj, Dane, and who?
Vlord Jnor, Dane, Carrick, Yochiro, and Yuto. And yes, I will strike through them on your little sheet.
Thank you.
You absolute.
I'm a needy bitch. Just say
Yes, you needy fucking.
it. He won't say it.
You're correct, because my mother raised me better.
You know what? Good for her.
Yeah. My mom was like, if you're rude to a lady, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. And I was like, all right, never be rude to a woman, guys. She did not. She did
You're like,
not
I'm
do
a-
that. She did not do that. She did not.
Disclaimer. Very
Disclaimer.
Yes. Yeah. Big disclaimer. That is not a true story. Where is
Your
the
secret
strike
has been
through button
spilled.
on this on fucking Google Docs? Where is it?
Oh, shit.
Did they
I know
move
where
it?
it is.
Did they-
They
Probably.
did move it. I used it recently. I don't remember where it is. It took me forever to find it.
Oh, I found it.
A.
That is such a weird key combination. Alt Shift
It is.
5.
I knew it was Alt Shift, and I could not remember what the last one was. So, anyways, bye, Dubby.
Yes, by Dubby. The brand
Monkey
sponsor.
Madness, num num num.
Monkey
By
Madness
so much
was
Dubby.
really fucking good. Like, I cannot understate that. And in addition to those 6 losses, Moreland was downed. He was not killed. He will be on ideally be on bed rest for a long time. Andon was also wounded. Jimmy completely unscathed. Good job, Jimmy.
I mean, he's wily. Although he did have a knife, so I'm glad he didn't end up like stabbing himself.
And then Avery and Uric, both also in the fight down below decks, are lightly wounded. They're not in any like serious danger. So is Ula. He's also kind of hurt. With 6 losses, Anthony, I'm going to ask you to reduce the crew morale by 20%.
Fine. Makes sense. We just gave him all that money.
All the money in
So
the
they're
world
down to-
can't bring back Carrick.
Oh.
Depends
He
on
was
who
a
you give
nice
the
guy.
money to.
Sadly, I don't have level 5 spells yet. So I
We
can't bring them
gotta-
back.
No, you can't.
Oh, that's right. You can't do it at all in this setting.
Yep, that's correct.
Oh, shit.
Yep, death is permanent.
What's honestly the weirdest part about this setting, honestly. I've never played in a setting where you can't use restoration spells. It's different for me.
There's
Yeah.
there will be another campaign that George is running that some people have been invited to currently while we figure out like who we want in that will actually explain the reason why that is.
Nice.
Anyways,
We gotta raise these morales, guys. They're down to
After we just did
61%.
So
yeah,
much work to raise the morale.
you guys like you take a quick head count, you figure out who's dead, who's unconscious, who's hurt. What else are you guys doing?
I'm doing my job and being a surgeon, tending to the wounded.
Okay. Are you doing so like through mundane means or magical means? Healing magic is fast, but it is extremely painful. Mundane means are slower, but a lot less painful.
Magic where, triage is needed, but otherwise mundane.
Okay. Just give me 2 quick medicine checks, and we'll see, like, just how everybody's doing.
Alright. I will give myself guidance.
Okay.
Where is heal?
It starts with an H. Oops.
Yes. That. +3, and then the second check. +2. Both above 20.
Yeah. It's like being on the ship for so long with everybody, like, you've seen a few stab wounds. Like, I feel like, except for a couple of people, like Moreland especially, because he was downed, like, everybody else is just like, okay, here's some quick stitches, go sleep it off.
Okay. So no triage needed. I don't need to use any spells. They'll heal. They'll heal
Yeah.
okay on their own.
Yeah, they'll heal fine. Ideally, you should not let them leave their bed, because remember how it was explained last time. It takes hours per hit point, basically.
Yeah. No. I give them the doctor's order of you're confined to quarters until you're healed up.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
Jurgen is going to be walking around checking in on everybody that doesn't appear to be hurt. Basically just seeing how they're feeling. Clearly no one is good, but
Okay. How do you approach the crew? Mamato's like at your back, like 24/7. Like, he's fine.
okay.
But for the rest of the crew, like, what is your approach here?
Jurgen would walk in very solemnly, just kind of looking around to everybody, and he would say, we won the fight, but we lost some great people. I need to know that some of you are going to be safe actually moving forward. I know not everybody is going to be in a great headspace, and sometimes it's hard to work in these conditions.
Is it just Jurgen who's there?
Anybody else who wants to be there is welcome.
This is just like a crew pep talk, is what we're doing? Like a
Yeah.
company meeting? Everyone's there. It's a company meeting.
Yeah, everybody's there now. Even Tilly, who's like laying on the ground.
Did they like bring me in like a gurney?
Yeah, basically, you're like on a stretcher. Some people are carrying you. Jurgen, the crew, while you're giving this pep talk, nobody seems to like acknowledge it. Everybody just kind of stares at you, not with open hostility, but with caution.
Can I do a check to see if it's like fear or they're just like not believing what he's saying?
Sense motive, yeah. Anybody who's there can
love-
also do so.
If only I had
unconscious?
character sheet.
You are unconscious.
Okay, no, but they did bring me there unconscious.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Good. Does this make me in charge? The captain's unconscious.
Technically, yeah.
Asking for a
They're
friend.
unconscious. How hurt are they?
Not very, but they were hit by. They were the only one who like got hit and failed the check to not pass out from that powder. The only one. And I thought it was such a cool thing. No. No. So, well, Blake, do you want to roll? I don't see a roll from you.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. So, or also ice. So I don't just so I cover everybody. Would you like to roll sense motive on this too?
I would, but I also have as depending on how quick this is happening, I can easily take some time to in an hour. I think switch a spell. I'm just looking for the spell.
Yeah, this is just like a quick gut check. Like, you know how when something's gonna happen in a room, like you can kind of feel it. This is you kind of sussing out like what that feeling is.
Oh, I'm talking about for like I think there's a remove poison spell
Oh yeah, for that.
for waking up the captain.
Okay, if that's what you're doing and trying to focus on, then we'll come back to that later. I'll say your attention's occupied trying to wake the captain up with that.
Okay, yeah, I just gotta find this spell.
My attention is preoccupied trying to figure out how to heal my own wounds.
So, for Z and Dragona, the crew, it's a mixed bag. A lot of them look scared shitless of Jurgen, and a lot of the others are looking at him with like hostility mixed with fear. And we will rewind the clock a little bit, since Jurgen was not present for what was going on with his character. Jurgen didn't come up and just cast a spell that made lightning. This fight happened in the midst of a storm, and Jurgen called the lightning from the storm itself. So,
Damn.
like, unknown to you, but just so like that is the general vibe, and like a crew voice this. They're like, we do not like what you've got going on.
We didn't know he was a fucking thunder wizard.
Alright, I'm gonna tap Jurgen on the shoulder and be like, okay. Kind of like give him a face like, hey, it's my turn, bud. Jurgen, do you step back or do you keep talking?
Jurgen has a lot of respect for you, so he's not gonna go away, but he will like settle down and take like a single step backwards.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping he was doing. Okay. Alright, crew, so we've had a shit day. Yeah, no, let's just get it fucking out there. But are we a bunch of prissy yachters who were just gonna give up on our damn crew? Or are we motherfucking pirates? Look at this batch of badasses. And yeah, we lost people. May their hearts and souls rest at sea. But that is part of what we do. And if we're gonna do shit like this, and if we're gonna pillage, and we're gonna find all of the riches in the barrens, even though what Jurgen's been doing is a little sus and a little scary, I want this badass on our side and on our crew than against us. So let's stick with this mentality that this is our ship. We are here together as one group, and we're gonna push through whatever this is, and we are going to get some fucking gold. Alright? How does that sound?
Dragona's gonna stand up and just start clapping.
She's
Got
with
it,
me.
delay poison.
I need you to
Make a natural one.
should I make you roll this? Diplomacy, please.
I suspend
Oh
the
my
effects
God.
of the unconscious poison for 6 hours.
Okay.
That's
Use-
a natural 2.
All right. So you're going. The captain's going to wake up to the ensuing conversation, like as you're kind of regaining consciousness, Tilia. Since Z is the one that addressed everybody, one of the crew, a dwarf, his name is Baranon, he immediately steps up and he goes, "We all saw him on deck. Jurgen called the lightning of that storm down. I do not be a liar. It was not a magician's trick. The man called and the storm answered." Another crew member comes up and he says, "Baranon's right. He came up onto the deck and his eyes were white. He spoke something under his breath and he struck the other vessel with lightning. That's herald work if I've seen it. And all the barons in the Isles want the heralds dead."
Shit, I tried.
Other crew members start like joining in on this. They're like, "Yeah, we don't want to end up dead because that guy's infected with the fucking madness."
Tilia is going to
Wait.
finally raise herself up to her full height, kind of still stooping under her full height in the rather small. Are we like below decks or on deck?
On deck, on deck.
Okay, so no, she's raising herself up to the full height, and like a mother over unruly school children, she is going to put her hands on her hips and look down over everyone in an attempt to get them to silence.
I think go ahead and roll intimidation. The check's gonna be really high because things are already starting to get heated. So, yeah, like
We're not doing well.
you stand up and immediately one of the other crew points to you and they go, and they're like, "Sorry, I lost my place here in my notes." Yeah, they point at you and they go, "And the captain's been hiding it ever since we came back from that island with the fucking hole. This whole place has been a whole bunch of storms and weird happenings."
Aye, but did you ever consider that this was being inflicted upon Jurgen, not Jurgen's own doing? He's one of the crew. He's one of us.
Inflicted on or not, he puts us all at risk.
And you'd turn against him at the first slight of inconvenience?
Six
This
of
is
us
the
are
kind
dead, Captain. All of us could be dead.
And you think that doesn't pain me? We would all be dead if Jurgen didn't step up. He didn't know. Alright?
One of
Yeah,
the
he saved us.
one of the crew says, "I say we turn him in whenever we get to Oxfell." And a whole bunch of the crew go, "Yeah!"
Jurgen would just look over to Tilia. He's not saying anything, but he's just looking at her to see what she says.
This is, I'm sure, a time where Tilia would find the words. But, you know, kind of paling under the weight of all of her crew demanding mutiny. Tilia's stone-faced, racking her brain.
"We don't want to be sailing with no herald. That's painting a target on our backs sure as shit. Any of these Baron finds out, and we're a bunch of dead men."
Aye, and they don't need to find out. Say you do report them, you turn traitor once we hit port. Do you think they're just gonna let you off all nice and easy? No, I'd say we're equally likely to catch a charge by harboring him for as long as we are. The prudent thing to do would be to remain silent.
Was the ship sunk? You kind of whisper to Tilia, "Was the ship sunk?"
Well, I got half a lung full of seawater, but our ship is afloat. That much is certain, and we do have Jurgen to thank for that.
I meant their ship. The one that attacked us.
Are you whispering this to the captain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll lean back. Well, if what they're saying is true, then I'd say it's awful likely they didn't make it back to port. Even we'd struggle.
For the staying silent, which we better hope so. They saw that as well as we did.
I'm gonna walk over to them and say, I think it might be best to disband and regroup later. We're not getting anywhere here.
All right. Well, you all earn your share, and I know we do have the 6 souls to remember. Let's reconvene at sundown. Feel free to take the day easier in remembrance of our 6 fallen friends. We will continue this later. If need be, we'll put it to a vote. But everyone's going to speak their mind, and Jurgen's going to speak on his own behalf. We have standards, everyone. We can't just turn traitor at the whim. We need to think things through before we make it to port. Is that reasonable?
Roll a diplomacy, please.
Oh no.
Oh.
I can't see. Oh.
Listen, a captain with no charisma. That's what you get. That's why I have a loyal crew.
More of the crew just like the whole thing erupts into just shouting.
Z, I'm losing them. Work your magic.
Oh, I'm not having a good day. Okay, what's this gonna get done? Can I cast anything? Let's see. What do I have? Nothing good.
Since
Oh, well.
since I haven't rolled before Z tries, I'm going to give Z guidance before they try whatever they're gonna try.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm basically, I don't know what I'm trying. All right, fuckers, listen up. We're stuck here on this boat until we get to the next port. Now, whether or not we decide to kill Jurgen, we'll decide later. The captain said we'll take it to a boat, and we will, because we are not animals. We might be pirates, but we are not going to sit here and shout at each other and try and kill each other just yet. You are all brilliant and reasonable people. I know that. I know that. Can we all act like that? Because we're not. You're not doing that right now. And if we're going to get through this alive, we have to work together. As a crew. Like we've been doing for months. Alright?
This is the last diplomacy check I'm gonna allow. So if it doesn't go
I
good,
know, we're really pushing it. I will be using the guidance. What do I get to add?
a D4.
It's 1d4,
Okay.
which you'll just have to roll afterwards.
Yeah, that's fine. Once I learn the alphabet.
Okay. I'll go ahead and throw my guidance in ahead of time.
I am still gonna roll that.
Boom.
17's pretty good.
You get +3 to it.
It's
It's 20.
it's /R.
How do I do it? Why did that work?
I always
I'm-
just use the little
It's
side.
/R. When you yeah.
Alright, 19.
19 it is. Jurgen, I want you to reduce the crew morale by another 5 points. but they begrudgingly disperse.
Okay.
Tough day.
And we're only getting started.
How
Dragona
long
Z.
does that poison last?
That delay poison spell will basically last the whole time, so it'll be gone by the time that spell's over.
I'm just gonna be sleeping good tonight.
As the crew walks away, he would look to Tilia and he said, I came out here to make my life better, and things just keep getting worse. Captain, I don't know what to do.
Well, something my husband used to always say. The night is always darkest before the dawn. Things are looking rough, but we don't abandon our own. We'll think of something.
We should go to the cap. We should go to your quarters rather than discuss here.
Agreed, but we shouldn't leave the crew unattended for too long. Someone will have to wash the ale and make sure no one overindulges.
Well, I guess that's my job by definition.
Right. All right. To my quarters.
I'll catch you guys there
Zara
later.
walks up.
He would also follow behind.
Dragona would also follow.
Who's going to the... Okay, so just so I have a full head count, who's going with the captain, who's staying outside?
I think
I'm-
Z was the only one staying outside.
Well, we didn't hear anything from Blake, so...
Yeah, I'm trying to decide. Yeah, I'll follow to the captain's quarters.
Okay. You're good. Mamato will tap you on the shoulder and say, where would you like me to go?
He would put his hand on Mamato's shoulder and he says,
Mamato's taller than you, so
it doesn't matter.
like way
He's still
taller.
doing
He's
it.
just like this.
Okay, then he'll give. Oh wait, yeah, I am a dwarf.
Yeah, he's a.
Never mind. He'll just give him like a pat on the forearm,
Just a friendly
say-
slap on the ass.
and he says, "Mate, I can't be painting a target on your back for you.
Yeah,
I think
He-
if you're gonna be part of this crew, you need to stick with them."
he's like, no. You and I have ties that run way deeper than this ship.
So what if they
So I'm your man.
if they kick me off? are
I'm
you
going
coming
with you.
me?
I've watched you shit in a latrine for years. You think a whole bunch of people on a boat are gonna separate us then? Nah, I don't think that's the worst of it.
Yeah, he would just have a very hesitant laugh to himself, and he says, then I suppose you can come with.
All right. So everybody but Z is going to the captain's quarters.
All right.
We're going to start with Z.
Excuse me.
What are you getting up to out here?
I'm gonna find Baranon.
Okay. He is with 5 other crew members, and they are all talking. But the minute, like, unless, are you going to approach stealthily, I guess?
No, I'm just gonna walk up.
Yeah, the minute like one of them spots you, everybody just immediately shuts up.
Acknowledged. Okay, I'll be real with you guys. We're not from here, so we don't know what's going on. If I need to know how serious this is. So tell me, what's a herald, and why is this really bad for us?
They all look at each other and using your previous diplomacy check, like they take a second before Baranon starts to speak. And he says, he clears his throat and goes, the
I take out my notebook and start taking notes.
the legend's been around for almost as long as the Barons have been in the Isles. There's supposed to be a herald chosen by the sea goddess to unite the Isles. We don't know where this originated, but the Barons take it seriously. It's a threat to their power. And it just so happens that every herald that's come about has gone mad.
I look visibly worried.
We don't know how, but it's not pretty. This Mazri Tark is the claimed herald who's lasted the longest without going mad, and he's got a sizable following.
I've heard of him.
We're in his waters right now.
Do you know if those are his men that attacked us?
Certainly not.
And
His
do
men
we
are
know-
his men are forbidden from piracy. But look, no herald's been named true by the sea priests. And no herald is tolerated by the barons. And if he's gonna go mad, he's gonna take the whole ship and all of us down with it. What's the use for riches if you're dead?
Yeah. We're fucked. Oh, we're fucked either way.
So I say either we turn him in when we get to Oxfell, or we keelhaul the bastard.
I think I'm with the crew on this one. No. I'm definitely with the crew on this one. And I think if we don't cover this up, they're gonna hunt us all down even if we do turn him in.
Aye. That's what I was just saying to the boys.
Well, anyone have a plan?
They shrug.
Hmm.
They say, the captain is going to protect him. That's a given. But if we call a vote, I think we can change captaincies.
See. I'm with you guys 100%, but I don't. I'll vote for whoever we're backing. We need to get rid of Jurgen.
You'll find out tonight.
Okay. She just looks down, silent. Tries to wait to see if they'll continue talking around her.
No, they disperse immediately after this conversation. The Baronon makes sure that he's always with someone.
Okay. I go approach Moreland and just start talking about whatever, not anything like important. I mean, I guess everything's important, but
Yeah.
just nodding along and agreeing to what people are saying.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Well,
nothing of substance.
Moreland was down, so he's like in the infirmary right now, basically.
Oh, I didn't know he.
Yeah.
I was not paying attention.
Well, last session, he's the one that burst into your room and was like, "Hey, we're under attack." Like,
Yes, I know that.
and he went
did
down.
good.
He went down defending you. So
Yeah, he did. He did. Okay.
Merlin's a good boy.
Then I'm just gonna hang around the crew and keep expressing agreement. Nothing
Okay.
of real substance.
Okay. We're gonna go to the captain's quarters.
Okay.
What's going on in here, guys?
When Tilia walks in, she viciously kicks her chair straight into the wall.
It just shatters into pieces immediately.
Oh. Well, they've certainly been happier.
We do have a very serious problem.
Listen,
That we
Jürgen,
do.
if it comes to a vote, you know, I may be the captain, but I'm powerless against all of them.
Well, what I was trying to point out earlier is voting to get rid of Jurgen may not even matter at all if that ship gets back to port. They saw what happened. The ability he used was used on them after all.
Yeah, they certainly wouldn't believe it was just a freak thunderbolt.
The moment they get back to port across another ship, that story is going across the entire Barren Isles.
Well, the only way I see us getting through it is owning up to Jürgen's herald status and fighting the entirety of the Barren Isles with all of the might of their navies.
Or, and you all are the experts on this, their ship was damaged by the ability. Could we overtake them and make certain they don't get back to port?
Tilia will look up from the shattered remains of the chair. Now you're talking. I unfortunately was about 10 feet underwater. Did anyone see? Did their masts fall? How bad was it?
You use the ability, Jurgen, when we're on deck.
This is true.
You don't remember doing anything.
Okay. Jurgen would say, every time something like this happens, I can't recall it. I don't know what happened.
Every time. Has this happened before?
Not the lightning part. But fighting everyone on the ship. Or every time I've ended up getting that amulet. It's almost like I'm not even in control of my own body.
That voice you've been hearing pot chimes in at this point, and it says, "None of us really are we?"
Not even telling anyone else what is going on. He just looks to his side and he says, "Will you leave me alone?"
Tilia's
There's just
look at
maniacal laughter. Is what you
Okay,
hear,
so
Jurgen.
just raises an eye at that.
I'm gonna give a signal for Dragona to kind of shuffle over a little closer to Jurgen.
She'll give a
He-
worried look and just lightly step forward.
He would just. You have. Oh wait, no, you shattered your chair. So he's gonna go over to your. Do you have a bed, or is it just a mat, or
Well,
like a bedroll?
I'm sure I have like a heavier chair back near like the desk. That's just like a guest chair that I destroyed.
Yeah, he's gonna go somewhere just where he can sit down, and he says, "Dragona, it's fine. It's just that guy,
What guy?
the guy. I've talked about him before. He's the guy from my dreams. He's even started talking to me in my waking hours."
Well, whether they're damaged enough by the ability that we can overtake them, making the attempt is, at least for now, may, if nothing else, show the crew you're acting in their best interests by pursuing them. They saw what happened, after all. The crew will know that.
True, and I'd rather have them not idly planning a mutiny. Busy hands would be a little less prone to it.
Listen, I don't want to get anybody killed or any of you hurt.
Jurgen's 6 are dead, and more are already hurt. Whatever's happening is happening.
Exactly, but if I leave, it won't.
We're
They're
in deep
going
waters.
to vote me off of the ship.
Where will you go?
If they vote him off right now, the only direction is the gangplank.
Personally, I'd rather not go that way. Oh, I
You're-
swapped accents there for a second.
Jurgen, in your head, you hear the, why don't you just embrace the sweet taste of power?
You guys would see Jurgen. He doesn't say anything, but he just kind of like, it almost looks like he winces in pain, just trying to like shrug a thought away.
I don't mean to suggest that's going to happen. I was just making a point.
It,
There's nowhere for you to go at the moment, Jurgen. We're in deep sea. We're at deep sea.
I understand. I understand.
So that wouldn't be an option until we get to port anyway, and by the time we do, that other ship, if it makes it back to a port, will already be rapidly spreading the story. If you want to keep it quiet, Captain, like you suggested to the crew, the only option is making sure that ship doesn't tell the tale of what happened. Otherwise, there'd be no such thing as secrecy at that point.
Well, as logical as it is, it's going to be hard pressed to have them fling themselves into combat once more. But perhaps Z has a better feeling of what the crew's feeling, if nothing else. We'll consult with her and we'll spread word to hound that ship as fast as possible. Hopefully they'll still listen.
The crew is acting in their best interest. That's why they're pushing to throw Jurgen off in the first place. They'll know that if that ship gets back to port and tells the story of how that happened with a person on this crew, getting rid of Jurgen won't even matter at that point.
At least we can control the narrative if we're the only ones to tell it.
Captain, with your permission,
not
I'd like
tell
to
at
go
all.
try to find Z and see how she's faring with the crew.
You're gonna,
At
in your head, as
once.
soon as Vapor speaks up, the voice does too and says, "Don't let her go. She will betray you."
He would once again mutter to himself, but like audibly, loud enough for everyone in there to hear. He would just say, "Shut up."
Dragona will give a worried look and say, "What did it say this time?"
Don't tell her.
I am going to tell her.
Tell me what?
The voice
He's
just
telling.
starts to sob.
He would hesitate for just a moment and then say, "He's telling me not to trust Vapor."
Must mean we're on the right track. Vapor, hurry back with Z's report, please.
She'll nod and then head out to find Z.
And
Should
as
get
she
there as soon as
leaves,
possible if that's what we're going to do.
as she leaves, Jurgen starts having a conversation which just looks like himself, and he says, "Now, why exactly would you not want me to trust her?"
The voice doesn't answer you like you ask that question and you said you ask it audibly. The voice is on something else. It just like in that same sobbing tone, it just says, "Laurel, where are you?"
I don't know who that is.
And it just starts crying and wailing again.
He he almost starts like consoling this voice in his head, uh, and he says, "Listen, clearly, I'd like to say that we're stuck together, but it seems that I am stuck with you. So, if we can help each other, then tell me what it is you want. Because I don't know what to do. I don't even know what I am at this point. So, give me some damn information."
It only returns silence.
Jurgen, I'd perhaps not talk to it. It only encourages it.
Captain, what else would you suggest I do?
Well, I suggest you look in the top right-hand corner of that desk you're sitting behind. Pull out the old stuff. I think you need it more than I do. And were you to pull the drawer open, you'd see the captain's private collection of rums and liquors.
He would look at it, and though it's a generous offer, you would see some sadness in his eyes, and he says, "Just keep me sedated." I suppose it's not the worst idea. He just starts like downing it.
Okay. Vapor.
Hello.
The ship is eerily quiet. except for the sound of rain, and occasionally you pass by a couple members of the crew who are engaged in a hushed conversation. Whenever you pass by, they like immediately quiet until you are out of sight. Where can Vapor find Z?
I'd hope at this point I've kind of worked my way back into the crew a little bit enough to just kind of be floating.
Yeah, I mean nobody goes out of their way to talk to you, but they also aren't like telling you to go fuck off or anything, you know? Like
Yeah, they'll still kind of talk when I'm there.
but they are very careful in the things they are saying. Since you are an officer, even if you
Right.
like even if they trusted you, what they tell you is still suspect. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it's like,
I
you
lean,
know,
I
technically
lean
you
into
can
it.
it's like how technically you can trust a cop, but anything you tell them, they're gonna give to the court. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. I give them like information that like seems like stuff like I wouldn't tell the rest of the like officers, like, God, maybe he's better off dead. Stuff like, I'm worried if I'll ever make it back. Like things that you wouldn't say to like, you know,
while
or not
you
like
are
other
pick me.
girls.
While you're doing this, Vapor approaches you.
Do I see her before she approaches?
Unless Vapor's trying to be stealthy.
No.
Yeah, then yeah, you see her.
Okay. I go out and meet her, make a distinct putting myself between her and or between my putting myself between her and the crew members I'm talking to.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I whisper, Viper, what the fuck are we gonna do? What do you think about all this?
Well, the conversation in there was quite something. he started having a conversation with a, a voice.
The
The
crew
voice.
the crew give me some lore on the heralds, and it appears we have one in our presence, and apparently they go kind of crazy. So it seems like all of the other barons are gonna kill us. Jurgen's gonna kill us. The crew might kill us.
Can we um she'll glance around for a moment.
Make a
Can
spot
we go
check.
to your Okay. I seriously need to learn the alphabet. Oh my gosh.
It's an S. An S.
I know.
But what comes before and after it?
You don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
I think it'd be better if we talked in your quarters.
Fine, but I think it's suspicious if we start going off in pairs. Meet me there in 10. And
Sounds
then
good.
walk up. And then, as soon as I'm out of sight, I want to sneak back.
Just like sneak to your quarters.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll move silently.
I would love to.
Easy peasy.
Nice. No one knows me.
Well, it's a matter of like you're moving in such ways to like not draw attention to yourself.
No, yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
I get it.
people who look at you, they're like, yeah, that's definitely Z. But like but
I'm
that's
not
the
thinking.
Yeah, but that's the point in moving silently. You're not like nobody who looks at you is going to be like they're going somewhere suspicious. Like,
Mhm.
and what does Vapor do in the 10 minutes they've been asked to wait?
In the 10 minutes, because she's been so concerned about like trying to get Jimmy to like her, she goes to try to find and check on Jimmy and see how he's faring after the whole ordeal.
You don't find Jimmy anywhere.
Hmm. Find that odd, but okay. That'll definitely be something that she brings up to someone later.
Okay. All right. Before we do that little conversation, how are things going here in the captain's quarters? Jurgen has, I guess, decided to get pissed drunk. So,
Yeah, pretty much.
Kazar is just kind of still suggesting that the captain give the order to chase down the ship. The faster they start, the more likely they'll succeed.
Yeah, I'll try to spread the word however a captain would.
okay. You go out and you start giving some orders. The crew does nothing.
Well, listen, it's only going to get worse for everyone here if that other ship makes it to port with tales of how we all kept Jurgen quiet. If we sink them, at least if we do hand Jurgen in, we can do it on our own terms with our own story to protect the rest of us.
You already tried to help him once. How do we know you're not just covering for him now?
Am I? I assume I went out with the captain, right?
If you want to.
Yeah, I wasn't. I would. Yeah, I'll leave Jurgen with the drinks in the captain's quarters and go out with them. And Kazar speaks up and says, "Because we didn't know they were the Herald or a Herald until now, when they used that ability."
To be honest, I didn't think heralds were, well, a real thing.
That wasn't the thing hidden from you. We didn't know it ourselves.
All I saw when I woke up was a crew turning against one man who didn't have a chance to speak back for himself. Now I'm starting to gather some of the facts, and we are going to put it to a vote. But right now, regardless of the outcome of that vote, the right choice right now is to make sure that ship sinks. Jurgen's not gonna.
We'll come back to the results of this here in a moment. We're gonna go to Z's room. 10 minutes have passed.
I would like to do this on the way there just to make sure that like nobody gets suspicious and sees me or anything
Okay.
to that nature.
Okay. His actions or gestures. Yeah, well, I mean, the captain has started giving orders, so, yeah, you kind of just kind of blend in with the shadows a little bit and move along like almost like one of those tropes where you're just kind of like up against the wall where it's a little darker. It can like just kind of slink along until you get to Z's room. But
Excellent.
you don't run into anybody.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I slip inside.
That's what he said.
Anthony, I hate you.
Always
Sorry,
down to
that
be
took a
protection.
minute. Kazar and Hylia were out.
Mhm.
She looks at Z.
And he looks back at her.
So, what on earth are we going to do?
What do you think we should do?
So, before we came out here, I actually know a little bit about the heralds.
Oh,
That's kind of part of the reason I'm out here.
what do you mean?
There's part of the lore with the people that I work for. They believe that they uh I don't know if I fully understand it myself, but something with the heralds and just causing chaos, like world chaos.
So you were
And
sent to do what?
well, you know.
Z smirks. Well, it looks like we've been given the same mark.
So then we're in agreement then.
Yeah, we kill him. Better yet, we get the crew to kill him.
Perfect.
I mean, all day. They have been considering voting him off, but I think I've mentioned enough times that him being dead is the only way to go. They don't trust us.
Not in the
No.
slightest. You
So
know
it
they're
can't.
gonna vote. You know they're gonna vote you to be captain.
What kind of shitty assassin makes it known that they're the one that sentenced them to death? Really? Ugh. My handler would be so pissed at how sloppy this is. So, sister, I will owe you for the rest of my life. But if I'm the one that puts him to death, I think we'd have to sink the ship and be the only survivor.
Yeah, I was kind of figuring you were gonna say that.
Well, let's hope they
So
just mutiny and vote someone else in.
agreed. What if we try to throw the vote to Kazar? He could possibly
Healer?
make a good. I think he'd make a decent captain.
The healer's gonna put someone to death?
I don't know if he'd put somebody to death, but
The
he'd make a
surgeon's
decent
gonna kill
captain.
someone.
He'd make a decent captain, though. That's the thing.
I mean,
If they're gonna go that way, you know.
well, here's the thing. They're either gonna vote me as captain, or they're gonna vote one of them as captain.
It's little Jimmy.
It's Jimmy. I don't think there's going to be an in between.
You're probably right.
Maybe I've been doing a good job of making myself look good today. Maybe I need to side with Jurgen. They vote someone else captain. They put him to death. We go home.
Could it really be that simple, though? She starts pacing around your room.
Oh, man, you sound so much like Hamar. Just pick the simplest way out. I have been doing a great job for like 5 years.
But
Sometimes the most direct route is just the best way.
the crew is our friends.
And if they kill Jurgen for us, then we don't have to kill them. I don't want to kill them either. It's sloppy.
Okay.
lot- It's a lot easier to hide things if there's a mutiny. The best kills are the ones that are done in complete and utter chaos. No one knows who did it. Or did they teach you fucking anything in your church group?
She'll shoot you a glare, and then she'll put her hand on her face and just kind of think for a second. And go. Okay, so we need them to cause chaos.
And if one of them doesn't get him, then we have to.
Oh, this is gonna be one hell of an evening, isn't it?
I sure hope so. She says with another smirk wider than the last one.
I want both of you to make me a list check.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Should have done that in the
Someone's
beginning.
events.
Is it Jimmy?
It's probably Jimmy.
You're gonna have to kill Jimmy.
It's probably Jimmy.
Oh, don't you dare
I-
harm Jimmy.
I swear, if it's Jimmy, I'm going to cry. I can't find listen. Hold on.
It's for the L's.
I'm having so much trouble with the alphabet.
Right after K, right before M.
Shh.
I think listen starts with a C.
Shut up, Ice.
An F, but the F is silent.
Listen.
Yeah, no, it's listen. The F is silent.
Why did it not roll?
It just depends on the country.
I clicked it.
Yes, the French listen.
There it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, you critically
Oh,
failed.
yep.
Yeah, Vapor,
Yeah.
Vapor
you,
went deaf.
you do not hear it, but Z, you hear the, oh, shit. Near your window.
Window. Okay. If I can't see creatures, can I still cast spells on them?
Not
Depends
unless
on
not
the
unless it's
spell.
area of effect or the spell specifies.
I don't want to look through my spell list because that's annoying. They're outside my window?
Yep.
Okay. Can I grab them?
Sure.
You can try.
You go to the window, and with their little hands on the porthole is Jimmy.
Amazing. I'm gonna cast.
He is like, he's slipped. That's what the, oh shit. He slipped and he grabbed the edge. He's hanging on with the tips of his fingers.
Fine, I'll pull him in and cast Daze. Which I should probably put in the... Or maybe Sleep. I'll cast Sleep.
Okay.
Nope, I lied. I'm gonna cast Daze.
Okay.
Because I want him to talk. I just don't want him to run away.
Okay. Yeah, Jimmy's eyes become like half lidded.
Okay, that should only last like a couple of seconds.
He's like, oh.
Bah.
Ooh.
Well, you have found your little eavesdropper.
And he's
What's up,
actually been
bud?
the one whispering to Jurgen this whole time.
Just
What
been
you doing?
chilling.
he's dazed, so he can't take actions, but that doesn't mean he can't be like, I'm not answering your questions.
Great. Then I'm gonna cast another spell. You know.
Power word kill.
I cast death and just stab him and just.
What if I want to cast Charm Person or Hypnotism? I'm gonna cast Hypnotism.
Okay. What is your spell save DC?
Something.
That narrows it down.
I like to be helpful. 14. Why won't it roll? Oh. That's why.
I got the snake tower. Okay. Stops to link the unit. Okay. I'm gonna make Jimmy's will. I'm gonna make Jimmy's will save,
Oh, okay.
and I'm gonna show you guys with the fancy dice tower. Thank you, Anthony and Blake.
You're welcome.
That is a, unsure if you can see it, but that's a 3.
Nice.
Damn.
Poor Jimmy.
What you doing?
He is counted as 2 steps friendlier. Goes,
And more suggestible.
I was more suggestible. We haven't. You've only asked him what he's doing. You haven't been like, hey, like, you should tell me the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, a suggestion
Fair
is
enough.
you're asking somebody to do something or behave a certain way versus being like, what are you doing? Like, so he's like, I was climbing.
You're going to tell me everything related to why you were here. Yeah.
I was climbing, and then I heard you and Vapor talking, and I stopped to listen, but then I slipped.
You're going to tell me if anyone told you to be here.
Nope.
You're going to tell me if you were going to tell anybody what you heard.
I was gonna tell the captain.
You're not going to tell anybody what you heard.
Intimidation, please.
Does it have a lower DC?
He's a child.
And also he's hypnotized.
You're, he he's more friendly towards you, but like if you're trying to silence him in that way, you know what I'm
You
saying?
didn't
Like
need it.
He
You
shits
didn't
himself
need it.
I didn't need it.
spontaneously.
he goes, yeah, I won't tell anyone.
Thanks, Jimmy. I believe him. But just in case, you're going to stay here, out of danger, for the rest of the night. And I go unlock my, 3 chests and get out some wooden figurines that I've whittled and, maybe some dice and be like, here are some toys to play with.
He just very
Take your-
numbly starts to play with the.
It's like
I have to
toys,
spell
right?
him.
Yeah, I had to spell him. What were you gonna do? Mom him into not telling anyone?
Our
God,
relation, our relationship was on the mend. Okay.
oh, I'm gonna have to wipe those down. I bet his hands are sticky.
Stop being such a germaphobe.
Not a germaphobe, just a kidophobe. Ugh.
She'll roll her eyes at you.
Alright,
Okay.
let's lock him in here and go cause chaos.
Okay.
We leave, I lock him in.
Okay. Jurgen,
That's me.
you're drinking, having a good time. Mamato's there. He's like taking the official/unofficial role of Jurgen's bodyguard. Like,
I think Dracona's still there too, unless they said they walked out.
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm with you again.
okay. Well, then, Dragona, you're also witness to this. The door to the captain's cabin opens, and in walks our good old friend, the Sea Priest. Jeremiah. He comes in with a big bundle on his back. He says, "Oh, three's kind of a crowd, but I guess with 4 you'll never be sore? Because I'm the 4th one? Never mind." And he just lets himself in. He walks over to Jurgen and, like, shakes his head and kind of tuts. He goes, "Poor quality alcohol."
Yeah. Jurgen looks up and he can handle his alcohol, but this is some. Would you say this is some pretty decently strong stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks up and there's like a slight slur in his voice, and he says, Personally, I think it's pretty good."
He reaches down with his hand that only has his index finger and his thumb, and he presses those against your forehead, and you no longer feel inebriated.
What a dick.
Dragona will step forward and kind of like slap his hand away, not knowing what he's
He
doing.
goes, calm down, biggin.
What did you call me?
Well, you're much bigger than me. Would you rather I called you small?
She'll step back. Puts her hands in
She's
her
like,
hips.
okay, I respect that.
He's like, yeah, okay. Valid. I'm mad. And I'm on guard.
I
But it's
understand.
valid.
Nasty business out there up on the deck. I understand. But we are nearing my destination. And I have a gift to impart. And he shrugs the big bundle off of his back. Setting it on the captain's desk. He says, my only request is that you do not open it. Yet.
Yeah, Jurgen would look at him, still kind of like confused about the fact that he suddenly feels fine. He says, and why do you not want us to open it?
Now's not the proper time. But you'll know when.
I will.
I'm looking at you.
He leans in and he says, "No, I will," and he just like taps on his head.
Son, do you know what wild cards are? And I don't mean poker.
I don't believe I do.
What they teach us. Before I became a sea priest, I was exactly what Kazar is. I was a student of fate. And in it, we are taught about wild cards. Wild cards are people who not only are fated for something greater than themselves, but can influence the hand others have been dealt. And I think you are most certainly one of them. So, I'm going to take this, and when the time comes, you will open it. It could be tomorrow, it could be today, it could be a month from now. But when you do, there will be no going back. Keep this somewhere safe.
Personally,
lad.
I am very quickly becoming much less fond of surprises. If I'm to be frank.
Well, better get used to it.
Jurgen's gonna take the bag and just kind of stare at it, and then set it back down on the table. Like he was considering opening it right there.
It's like a big case.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's wrapped in a big black bag. It's like it is in a bag, but the thing in the bag is also a case, right? A big black cloth bag. But, I mean, picking it up and, like, moving it, things are rattling around in there, so it's not one cohesive piece, it's a bunch of other pieces.
Interesting.
And whenever you drop me off, hopefully our paths will cross again. And he he bows low at the waist. And he says, Harold? My lady? Gentleman I never was introduced to?
Jurgen just looks to him like, are you gonna say anything?
Nope.
Dragona's just gonna look, also just kind of confused, but like give a nod.
Yeah, he looks back after Mamoto doesn't say anything, and he says, "This is my friend Mamoto."
You gotta get some more like him around here.
What? Friends?
And then he doesn't answer you. He just turns around and leaves. Very aloof old man.
After he leaves, Dragona's gonna grab another like bottle of ale and hand it to Jurgen. Be like, here, you need this.
Jurgen looks at her and he says, "If he got rid of it in the first place, probably wasn't meant to be. Just leave it."
She'll shrug and take a swig instead.
Alright, now we return to the deck.
Alright.
Go ahead and pick up where you left off, boys.
I think we had just said that we had no idea that Jurgen was a herald until just now when he did that ability. So we weren't actually hiding anything. We just actually didn't know.
And so before we throw him overboard, it might be prudent to chase down this ship before it gets too far.
So, just to be clear, they weren't referring to you guys hiding the fact that Jurgen was a herald. It was more so that when they called it out, you guys came to his defense. And that's where you guys are at odds.
Yeah, and that's hard to argue against.
Yeah. So, this is not going well.
You could say that.
I would say at this moment is when Z and Vapor show up.
I guess they're probably walking up while we're talking.
Yeah, and the whole crew has kind of shown up in force for this. Everybody's here, except for Jimmy.
Yeah, Kazar is just like continuing to try to talk, and he says that regardless of what happens with Jurgen, if that ship makes it back to port, it'll be pretty irrelevant. They'll spread the story that they were on the ship, and they won't know he's dead. Same outcome either way. So regardless of what does happen, that ship has to be stopped. Or kind of gestures to some of the leftover mess from the battle earlier. You know, kind of taking the angle of, yeah, we did kind of parlay the Jurgen thing, but at the same time, it also doesn't matter with that ship still out there. He's kind of taking a curved approach now.
They just, like, so Baranon, who's kind of taken the role as speaker for the crew here, again, takes lead of the conversation. He says, look, None of us even saw that ship coming, let alone going. The thing just appeared. And left just as fast whenever you're getting caught down the lightning. We have no clue which direction it went.
I can divine its direction, or at least attempt to.
Likely with that damage, they're not going far.
My best guess, I don't believe they have the ability to just teleport a ship around. They likely shrouded it from our sights.
This music is that I have on is too upbeat for this.
I've just got like the quiet lapping of waves and distant birds.
All right. So they are just the crew is at a point right now where they simply do not trust that you guys have their best interest. Because the best diplomacy roll didn't come till the end, and that was Z's doing, not the captain's. So, like, they just don't trust you guys. And you can easily just read that vibe. As a matter of fact, Jurgen, if you want to knock the morale down another 10%.
Damn.
What's it at, Jurgen? What we
think
what
like-
we rocking?
I think it's gonna be at 39. No, 46. 46.
You know what? Honestly, that's not bad considering the situation.
Yeah.
They're like, well, everything is awful and we're gonna die, but at least we're getting paid well.
I mean, you guys paying good is like what has kind of kept the situation from being worse. Like, you know, it's a good paycheck, but at the same time, like, you know, 6 people died, and then Jurgen exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baronon basically says as much. He's like, you know, if we're going to hold a vote on what to do, why don't we do it now?
Aye, no use delaying it until later. Well,
As spokesman for the crew, I think the first vote should be replacing our captain. And a whole bunch of hands go up saying, like, seconded.
Tilia remained silent with her fists clenched.
I go stand by Tilia. Not like too close, but just, you know, up by the officers and say nothing.
And, I mean, Baronon has just kind of taken control of the situation. So unless anybody else speaks up, he's just going to start going through this whole thing here.
Kazar will speak up, but in a more curious tone, and say, had it been you or anyone else, would you not want your captain's first instinct to be to try to find a way other than killing you?
Baronon shrugs and he says, fact of the matter is it wasn't me.
Interesting. He kind of glances at the rest of the crew as Baron gives that response, and then doesn't say anything. In a kind of like you heard him say that tone, like look.
Alright. Those who wish themselves candidate for captaincy, he raises his own hand. Does Tilia raise hers?
She does.
He looks at yourself, then himself, and he says, Captain Tilia, and then Andon steps forward. Says, I nominate Vapor. And like a whole bunch of people are just like, what the hell?
What?
I think Dragona might like let out a hearty laugh
What?
and be like, "You think she knows how to run a ship?"
Z gives Dragona a like, yeah, girl, I know, right? Look.
Says, hear me out. We've all been having this infighting. Z has chosen a side in the conflict with the crew. The rest of the officers are going to go with Tilia. The only neutral party we have right now is Vapor. And I get some nods amongst the crew. Baronon clears his throat. It's been seconded.
Well, if you all think I've betrayed your trust by jumping to the defense of a crewmate, I'd rather hand the reins to Vapor more than anyone else. If you are willing to all vote for her, I will step down voluntarily.
Dragona's gonna scoff at this and say this is foolish.
As a captain, what would Vapor have us do?
Uh,
He says that in kind of a just, it's his same neutral, like, curious tone that he was using with the Baron earlier when he asked that question.
well, right now she's just kind of like mentally processing this. Like she's just kind of like panicking. Like
She flabbergasted.
A bunch of the
she's
crew pick up on this, and Baronon is in particular. He's like, look at her. She can't even pull herself together.
Clearly not very good at making decisions. I say under my breath, loud enough for people to hear. Hoping that Vapor picks up on the fact that I'm trying to help her.
I'm going to put 2 minutes on a timer here.
For what?
Vapor to say
I'd
anything.
like to make a decision.
well, I feel it be that if this were to be the thought of the crew, that I at least hear everyone out on each side before I formally make any sort of decision in this matter.
Has Tilia not also done the same? What would you do differently?
Um,
1 minute.
I personally would not have chosen this for myself. I
You
don't.
can refuse the nomination.
I honestly feel as that is probably in my best interest. As like everyone has said, I don't know the first thing about leading a ship.
Andin speaks up again. He says, "But did Tilia before she was made captain? No. They had months to learn.
And a crew to rely on.
Just like how it took all of us months to become a crew." Oh, people are looking at you expectantly, Vapor.
What's your words?
As the silence drag on, Kayla kind of tries to focus her thoughts. Is the nomination refused? Or do you accept it?
I feel as though this is in my personal best interest to decline this nomination.
And the nomination is refused.
I do appreciate your thoughts, Andon.
He just nods and shrugs his shoulders. The Marinon speaks up again. He says, "Aye. Then the nominations are between me or keeping Captain Tilia."
Dragona will kind of shoot him a look and ask, "What do you have going for the ship? What will you provide?"
We will immediately capture and detain Jurgen, and pending another crew vote, and he says the last, like, almost spitting, he'll either be handed to Baron Oxfell or Keelholt. Now, a lot of the crew are like, yeah, yeah.
See?
And Baron's like wearing a hat, he takes it off. One of you has paper. Get it. And yeah, paper is soon provided, as well as quills and a little bit of ink. All the votes will be drawn and read by a third party. Since Vapor has refused Captain's nomination, I think she should read the votes at the very least.
I accept that.
Kazar kind of looks between the Baron and Captain Tilia and then tries to get a read on the crew. What does he feel like the vote's going to turn out here?
Sense motive.
Tilia would also like to suss out.
Anybody who's here is free to sense motive.
Yeah, I probably should.
I don't know who let me be captain.
think
You
that's a
guys
good
did.
That's okay. Just me over here casually actually panicking.
If I
It's
haven't
so
been
good.
dishonored enough.
I am like sweating.
So
totals out at 12.
anybody, and of course, customary to the laws of the sea, you may vote for somebody who is not nominated.
Everyone votes for me anyway.
Oh my god. You're reading the vote. You can lie.
Now, I mean, people will know immediately, but all right. For anybody with a sense motive of 15 or more, so Vapor and Z, it is basically not. It's not looking good. Not looking good.
Well, for who?
You guys.
Yeah.
Works for me.
Yes, and we're gonna take our first break while the votes are cast.
Alright, well,
Should we say who we're voting for?
before they as they were getting the hat ready, I was doing the sense motive because I was trying to see if I wanted to, like, Kadar was trying to see if he thinks they're going to vote against the captain anyway, and if they are, he was going to throw his own nomination in.
Hmm.
Honestly,
And since he can't get a good read on the situation, he's probably going to throw his nomination in and let fate decide what will happen from there.
Okay. So we have 3 nominations. Kazar does get a second from one of the crew. Tilia and Baranon.
Can we keep the same sense motive and see if that's well received, or if it's just like okay?
Again, for those of you who have 15 and above, some of the crew are definitely on board. There might be... So the way this will work out is 4 ways. Tilia keeps the captaincy by majority votes. Baranon gets the captaincy by majority votes. Kazar gets the captaincy by majority votes. Or the vote is split, and it's Tilia anyway. Because, a tie isn't a win.
True. Okay.
Okay. Ooh.
So, that is
Fate
where...
does enjoy a little bit of chaos.
That is where we will pick up in about 5 minutes.
the
Alright.
dishonor.
Slightly longer break.
Slightly longer break? Yeah, sure. 10 minutes.
Thanks, Rob.
Yep.
Cool.
I will be here, just chilling. If anybody is not going on
Alright.
break, we can talk.
I'm not. I'll be here.
I've got to
Yeah, I
make
think
the
I'll
most of
just
the break. I'm gonna step away right away.
Yep. Who's staying?
I'll be
I
here.
think I am.
I'll be here.
I'm hopping away.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, I was like, you know what? I got to get the roleplay out of you somehow. So,
Casually me actually panicking.
I could hear it.
Thanks for
That's-
that.
That's why I was like, you gotta make a decision.
I mean, you really are like the only third party that's on the boat. That's...
Honestly, that's valid. If it would, Ice, if it genuinely wouldn't have, if it would not have been for Kazar asking questions, she probably would have accepted it and just moved on.
He knows.
He's like, I'm just stirring the pot.
My plan foiled. Or
Gin
was my
foiled.
plan to have my plan foiled?
That is a
It was
great
my-
question, actually.
If
Was
my
my
if
foiled
my
have a
plan,
plan?
yeah, does my foiled plan have a plan that can be foiled for the new plan?
It sounds like an episode of Death Note.
Yeah,
feel
that
like-
that literally the plot of Death Note. Like,
Yeah, honestly. I feel like obviously all of this is out of character and out of
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Out of
but
character.
I feel like if she would have accepted, that probably would have thrown a wrench in the whole plan to begin with. Cause like that would have caused a little bit of issue where like me and Cassie were trying to figure out like what our actual plan was. Because um it was like, well, if the crew doesn't kill him, one of us has to do it. So that would automatically take me out of doing it. Because that would be betraying everyone else, which is not something that she wants to do.
Who says a captain can't kill her own people?
One that wants to live long.
One that wants to live.
Living's overrated, you know?
So I feel like this.
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
So I feel like her not accepting probably helps the plan.
Kazar's reason for doing that was twofold. One, he's he's observant enough to notice that Vapor obviously did not want to be nominated in the first place,
There.
and he also doesn't think that Vapor being the captain would be a good idea in general anyway.
That's also fair.
He was purposefully being a little political there to try and make you not nominated.
Mans was a little devious.
Same.
It happens.
Yep. And with he didn't get a high enough sense motive to even know well which way it was going. So since it was uncertain, he threw himself into the nomination. Because I mean, with the way just going off of, what he knows, since the sense
Mhm.
motive didn't really tell him anything specific, because he didn't roll high enough.
Mhm.
The crew is very much like they've already gathered, they've already banded together and called this vote, so they're probably going to vote against the captain. And his thought is, well, if I throw a little chaos in, maybe I get it somehow, and at least if I'm in that position, I'm in a better position to protect the wild cards I'm supposed to be here watching the story of.
Fair enough.
Ah, you know about these wild cards, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
If you noticed what he told the guy just outright told you that he used to be what Kazar is now. He told you I'm a student
Ah,
of
yeah.
Baylor, and I haven't been secretive about that. Anytime you might not like they might not have understood what I was saying,
Yeah.
but I wasn't being secretive about it. If asked, he says what he is, a cleric of Tystar.
Neat.
Jurgen just now has probably after hearing that probably just has a much better understanding of why Kazar is here.
Blake, were those very muffled sneezes?
Yes.
Oob.
Yeah, So at the very least, it gives them an option that isn't the captain, but is still one of the officers of the ship and has
like
an
the
idea of
way-
how to run it.
I like the way you feel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Always
I will be right back
Navidad.
in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Buenos dias. Noches. Oh, that's good day. But oh, hasta la vista. Let's see you later.
I've gotten a bunch of calls today from like numbers that say they're from West Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not.
That's really weird.
I'm hold on. I'm gonna try and count how many I've gotten in the past week.
Well, like it's not like I'm not going to say that none of these people could have been, but like 90% of them I've answered and somebody's been speaking a foreign language.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like either you have the wrong number or something else is going on, you know. And given the frequency of them, I would say something else is going on versus it was just a wrong number. Because if it was just like a one-time thing, whatever. But like my work was getting calls, I was getting calls. My work got one, and the lady went, "Hello," and then immediately started speaking Spanish, and I went, "No hablas español," and she hung up, and then immediately called back.
That's wild.
9:30.
Yeah. Which was a lie because I speak a little bit of Spanish. But I
know
don't.
enough. I know enough Spanish to sell lumber to the contractors that come to Menards at 6 in the morning.
41. I have gotten 41 spam calls in the last week.
I've been getting ones that leave voicemails that say nothing. It's just silence. And it's like, why is there a voicemail?
The thing that's driving me nuts is one of them is one of them it was the same guy. The issue was I answered the phone once because I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this is from West Virginia," and as soon as you answer once, they got you.
They're gonna keep fucking calling you, yeah.
I literally
Yeah.
just never answer my phone if they're not in my phone book, even if I'm like
Mhm.
expecting a call.
Yeah, I have a thing in my phone where like if it's a spam risk number or a private number, my phone automatically declines.
See,
I discovered it recently. You go to I have a Motorola. I don't know about you.
No,
But
I used to.
for me, if I go to I go to my phone in my recents and I click the three little dots, I can go to settings, block numbers, and then block calls from unidentified callers right there.
Honestly, the Motorola, I think like one of my favorite phones was the Droid Max. Yeah, it is strange, like just the frequency of how many have been coming in.
Yeah. Is everybody back?
I'm
Uh,
back.
Abby is almost back. She just needs like 30 seconds.
Okay.
I just stepped away a moment ago.
Well, like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, was that like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Cassie, how you feeling?
All right. I'm feeling all right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know,
You jiving, you funkin'.
Everybody else has been giving me their thoughts, so
it's a very stressful episode, but this is very well done. This is very.
Mhm.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it, even though this is literally Tilia's worst nightmare.
it's like I'm more stressed than my character is.
I literally got.
Honestly, same.
I'm here, by the way.
Thank you. I saw Ice's mic light up, but I didn't hear him, so I don't know if he's sitting down or not. I'm gonna assume no because he didn't answer. So yeah, like as soon as you left the call, and George did too, I was like, man, I'm gonna move up the schedule. Like,
Yeah, you pushed things. I think that's what we needed. We've had some pretty good moments, and I think everyone, you guys have all been doing awesome this session.
yes,
Been killing
yes.
it.
See, I thought for sure you were gonna friggin' like Game of Thrones, just push little Jimmy out the fucking window.
That's what I
down
thought
into the
too,
ocean.
and I was
thought for
like,
sure.
yes, do it, do
Honest
it.
to God, if Vapor wasn't in there, he would be dead right now.
I am back.
I love it.
See,
Va-
here's the
Vapor
thing about
saved
that,
me.
okay?
Hmm?
I said, see, here's the thing about that. She's trying so hard to like fix her relationship with Jimmy, like that she
How did it get hurt in the
genuinely
first place?
cares.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
He's
what
not
did he
gonna
get?
remember the hypnotism. It's part of the spell.
Yes. Anyways, yeah,
Oh.
everybody's back. So, I would like all of the players to DM me their votes.
Including myself? 'Cause
Uh,
I'm not there.
you are not there, so you will not give a vote. Neither will Mamoto because he's with you.
What about me?
I mean, you have been interacting, so I assume you joined everybody.
Yeah, that's valid, actually.
So, I mean, it would be kind of weird if you're like responding to what's happening on the deck in the captain's quarters way below deck.
I just have
Yeah.
really good hearing, and I was yelling through the walls.
No, it adds up. Yeah, I gotta listen to some like Phoenix Wright trial music or something right now.
Yeah. Objection.
I've just been listening to a loop of the sailing ship High Seas ambiance.
Yeah,
time.
I've had those playing. Sea Adventure started at one point, and it's like that's too upbeat. Like, this is one of those. Like, I don't have the suspenseful music I have is more so for like a horror scene than it is like a vote. So,
Yeah, like horror versus suspense.
mm. All right, and there are 24 crew left. Jimmy's not here, so 23. Mamoto is not counted in that number. So let's two, three. All right. The way I'm going to divvy this up is Basically randomly, but I'm going to weigh things a little bit here. And this is going to come down to basically just luck. Alex and Ice, go ahead and roll me D100s.
All right.
And I'm going to roll one for Baronon.
Lower is
See,
better.
wow.
Do you have a physical D100?
Not a D100, but I have 2 percentile dice and things like that.
Well, we're on opposite ends of the spectrum. I
Yeah.
want a D1.
Well, I will send the results to Blake.
Excuse me.
Please include my vote verbatim.
Yep.
Thanks.
In the meantime, while we're waiting on these votes, bye W, everybody.
Yes. Bye, Doug.
Please do.
I'm stressed right now. You know what de-stresses me? Online shopping. Go buy W right now. Are you feeling stressed over this D&D session? Could you
Get
use a
jacked on
refreshing
caffeine and energy.
You know what makes stress better? Caffeine.
Helps you solve your problems faster.
Good. Were we convincing?
No.
Darn.
You just convinced 12 people to buy it right now.
Even though we only have 3 people.
People can watch the VOD.
True.
This
I
is
mean,
true.
that's most of the media I consume on Twitch is not live.
Hmm.
But maybe I'm the freak, who knows?
Okay. So, if I can have everyone's attention, the votes are in. And for we have 6 votes for Captain Tilia. How do I say his name, Robert? Because I'm gonna butcher it.
Baronon.
Baranon. Okay. Baron for we have 10 votes for Baranon and 12 votes for Kazar and 1 vote for no one.
Who's no one? Who's no one?
1 vote for Anarchy, basically.
As you say the word anarchy, all hell breaks loose.
It was the sacred term. The spell has been cast.
Ah. Well, hiding a look of pain, Tilia is going to clasp Kazar's shoulders and congratulate him sincerely. Well, I at least trust your head. You're the most reasonable one on the ship.
Baronon looks
He
very
gives a respectful
surprised at the
nod.
results.
I don't think they're gonna like what your first commands are, but good luck. And Attilia is going to start walking back to the captain's quarters and then down to the crew quarters.
Oh.
Andon approaches you, Kazar.
Andon,
Congratulations, new captain.
didn't imagine such a vote would even be happening when I woke up this morning. Fate is funny that way.
That it is. That it is. I don't suppose. Kind of looks at the rest of the crew. Could we talk in your new quarters?
He ponders that for a moment. And then looks to the crew and says, "For the time being, I'll personally see Jurgen confined to his quarters and locked there. And then nodding to Baronelli, because that was what Baronelli said he was going to do. And then he turns and goes to do exactly that and motions for Andon to follow.
All right. Jurgen,
Yes.
the door to the captain's quarters opens, and in walks Kazar, followed by Andon.
Jurgen,
Kazar?
Andon, grins and he says, well, can't guarantee things will always go this well, but at least it wasn't Baron on that one.
at least it wasn't, says.
Uh,
Two things, Jurgen. There was a vote between a member of, the crew decided there needed to be a new captain after Tilia stood up for you. I managed to snag the vote.
you see, like, his eyebrows kind of raise. He says, that could have been worse.
Fate is interesting that way. However, as the captain, the crew is very clear that, well, the topic of exactly what to do with you is still in the air. I've told them that I will confine you to quarters and lock you there for the time being. You'll be safe there, and if you have any episodes, you'll be under guard and the door will be locked.
As I said earlier, I suppose it could be worse.
It could definitely be worse.
And I guess he would stand up and say, can I go on my own, or does someone need to follow me?
I'll escort you there personally. He leads the way out. We can, and then glances at Andon. We can have the conversation after we get them situated.
Of course, of course. I'll wait here if you don't mind.
Feel free. And he walks out, escorting Jurgen to his quarters.
while on their way down, Jurgen would kind of be looking to the ground and say, um, "So, what do you think the vote is going to look like?"
On whether to kill you or not, he says rather bluntly.
Aye.
Depends on that ship. I might be able to convince the crew to keep it under wraps for now if both myself and the crew is convinced that the information is going to get out. If we can make certain that barons don't know about you and aren't going to be coming for us, that'll be a large point in your favor. If we can't, well, let's hope I can divine that ship's direction. I'm not certain what fate has in store if we can't do that.
I suppose we'll just have to see.
He opens the door and walks into your room, and then takes a look around, making sure nothing. Personally giving it a glance and making sure nothing's out of place.
Like no one's there.
Like no one's there, or
Has been there.
has been there, or set a trap there.
It's untouched.
Okay. Is the door locked from the inside or the outside?
Jurgen.
Well, it the inside.
Mamato clears his throat, so you guys acknowledge his presence.
Mamoto?
I don't mind standing by the door. It's really not an issue for me. I'll make sure nobody comes in and he doesn't come out.
Honestly, right now, I probably trust you more than anyone else to do that.
He's probably the only one that's not gonna try and kill me.
That and Captain Tilia. Well, Tilia.
It
I
just
believe-
keeps sticking every time.
Even he's even he's slipping and having trouble not saying captain first at this point. I'll assign Tilia as well to be your partner guarding him. They can probably take turns with Dragona. Well, he gestures for Jurgen to give Mamoto the key, and then remembers it locks from the inside, and just kind of waves his hand and walks out.
He looks over and says, I'm not going anywhere."
Because damn right you're not, says Mamato. And he pulls out a deck of cards. Have you ever played Fuck You?
Next, he goes down to find Tilia.
I believe you're the one that taught me that game.
Well, you're about to get taken to school. And then yeah, Kazar's gonna go find Tilia, but first, Dragona and Vapor, Z. What is going on with the three of you?
I'm just gonna kind of stand there and watch.
Yeah, I was kind of
Dragon-
thinking that same thing.
Yeah, Dracona's also doing the same. Like arms crossed, like not wanting to interfere.
I mean,
Like
the,
she, you know, like you voted, right? And that's all you can do in the moment. So,
yeah, I mean, the crew has more or less dispersed. Like the vote didn't go their way, but also they didn't not get what they wanted. Tilly is no longer captain. You know what I'm saying? Like the results were acceptable enough that they're like, okay.
I mean, not
He's
like
just gonna start doing busy work, just like tying knots and shit. Like not like trying to, I guess, avoid going and asking what her role is now that the captain's been voted out and
That's
Jurgen's under lock and key.
that is gonna be up to the new captain.
Yeah,
When
she is avoiding.
Yeah.
we'll cross that, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. I want to know just what the three of you are doing. You know,
Dragona would probably go to where Tilia is sleeping for the night, or wherever, you know, she went to ask her how she's doing.
all right. I mean, Tilly's part of the crew now, so
Part of the ship,
yeah.
part
I
of
mean,
the crew.
once she kind of calms down from, the shock of losing her captain's hood, she's gonna go back into the captain's quarters and get some of her things, but
you walk
most of
in.
it she's just leaving to Kazar.
You walk in this time and you see Andon sitting there, like in one of the non-broken chairs. Says, Tilia.
Please, uh, hello. This, not quite my proudest day, but it's good to get back to my roots, right? I'm just one of the crew.
He just like nods, kind of awkwardly. Ah, well. Had things gone a little differently, I don't think. Well, you
No,
know.
I do. It was a shock to me that I was a captain for as long as I was, and well, never quite had the head for it anyway. Left most of the talking to Z,
He
the reasoning from Kazar.
he shrugs. He says, "Look, no captain really knows what they're doing. The only thing you've got to know is how to delegate, and you did fine. You are a victim of circumstance."
That I am. That I am. But at least I still belong with the ship. There's just going to be some growing pains when people stop flinching when I walk into the room.
They'll still do that.
Well, anyway, you should go join the others.
I'm actually
Well,
waiting on the captain.
I see. Well, they shouldn't be too long. And Tilia, out of her jacket pockets, will pull out a deck of cards. Do you ever play Fuck You?
That is great.
Yeah. Well, I would, since both Kazar and Dragona are looking for Tilia, both of you run into each other, uh, down in the crew quarters, and you don't find Tilia.
Kazar kind of looks around. Dragona, do you know where Tilly is?
Haven't a clue. Thought she would be down here as well. Congratulations on the promotion, by the way.
Now, does Dragona mean that, or is that like a jab?
Can I say somewhere in the middle?
Sure.
I don't
Kind of neutral.
imagine Dragona to be a very, like, serious person, so. Like, also, she meant it.
The person who screams cutting people down is not serious. But, but
It's a different kind of serious.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. It's kind of like I didn't get what I wanted, but I got the next best thing. I'm still a little mad about it, though. Like,
She's pissed. Don't worry.
continue.
Yeah, Kazar just kind of gives us a small nod at that. Kind of a neutral expression, and says, well, kind of thinks a moment and then, can I say at this point he'd think to remember that the captain's quarters was Hilia's room and that she might be there getting her stuff?
Yeah.
Then that's what he'll say. If she's not here, she might be in the captain's quarters grabbing her things. I was actually looking for both of you if you wanted to join me and come up there.
Dragona will nod and say, ah, smart. I will follow you up there. Hopefully we can find her.
He leads the way up there.
Yeah. You guys find Tilia and Andon playing a game of Fuck You.
Tilia?
Captain? No one's been giving you a hard time quite yet, have they?
Not yet, but it's bound to happen soon.
Aye, that it will. Well, this crew situation seems to be calmed down a fair bit. What's our next move?
I've assigned Jurgen, and I've confined them to quarters, and Momoto is assigned as their permanent bodyguard. For the time being, I'd like to assign you and Dragona to do the same. As much for his protection as for ours. And he kind of stresses the part about for his protection when he says that.
Certainly not afraid of him losing his mind like they said, but I'm sure one or two of those are gonna have a word to speak to him.
Dragona will happily nod, accepting that job.
Good.
Might be my last chance to speak with him as well.
Then he looks to Andon. Did you want to have that discussion in private?
If you don't mind.
He kind of glances back to Tilia and Dragona.
Right. Let me just, she'll just pocket a couple more bottles and hand them to Dragona. Just gonna grab one or two more things and, oh, enjoy. The rest of this is yours now.
If you think of anything else you need, feel free to come and grab it. It's not going anywhere.
And without another word, Attilia will leave. Thankful for Dragona's company.
Dragona's following with just like a handful of her stuff.
Kazar, how many chairs are in the room?
One broken chair and 2 functional chairs.
Right. Like, take the other functional chair and pull it around to where the captain's chair used to be before it was kicked into a wall, and sets it down there, and then sits down on the opposite side of the desk.
Yep. Andon waits till the door closes, and then he gives it a few seconds to, make sure nobody's eavesdropping. Is anybody eavesdropping? Players?
I'll take that as a no.
It's Jimmy.
I'm sorry, what?
Jimmy strikes.
Are any of you guys eavesdropping on the conversation Andon and Kazar are about to have?
No.
No.
Okay. Good. Just making sure.
Alright.
Alright. Andon kind of... He doesn't kick up his feet, per se, but, like, he leans back in a very, like, relaxed posture. Says, I had questions on the shakeup of power.
Ask away.
Well, Z was the first mate. Do you intend to keep her as such?
Considering the recent circumstances, I was contemplating asking the crew for their opinion on a first mate.
Well, look no further.
Kind of raises an eye.
Andon smirks. Says, how do you think you got the vote?
Can I sense motive?
Go for it. You can guidance yourself too if you want. Andon exudes some kind of like I'm not gonna you don't necessarily get a bad vibe, but you get like he's up to something.
Okay.
Says, look, you make me the first mate, I'll keep the crew in line. I talk, they listen. You want Jurgen to not come to any harm? I can make it so.
He kind of regards them, and then why would you want the job? I don't recall you having anything against Z having the role.
I didn't, and I don't. But given the shakeup, let's just say I have a vested interest in Jurgen. And I do not wish to see him dead.
Well, that's nice.
Thinks about that for a moment, and I am going to do something here. Just do a little bit of math here.
Doing some math.
Doing maths.
Okay. I would like to cast Zone of Truth and use my Faith Feat to increase the DC by 5. So it is a DC 21 to not be under its effect. That was actually a really good roll on the 1d6.
Okay. For dramatic effect, I'm going to keep this roll secret.
Okay. Let's see what fate has in store. DC 21.
Go ahead and ask your questions.
You don't want any harm to come to Jurgen.
No.
Why? What is your vested interest in him?
I'm going to tell you a lot. And he gets up and he goes over to the door and he locks it. Just to make sure we have no interruptions. He sits down and he says, I have been waiting for all of you to take this ship since the very beginning. And that's where we end session.
I knew it.
Excuse me?
Neat.
I knew
Well
it.
then,
Good night, everybody.
good
Buenos
night.
noches.
Good night.